Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Industrious Podcast. Thank you all for joining us from wherever you get your podcast. And if you're joining us from the Accessa YouTube channel, thank you for tuning in. We greatly appreciate it. While you're there, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell icon so you can be alerted when new episodes like this one drop. It won't matter whether it's 70 degrees where you are or it's snowing like it is here today. We've had both in the last 48 hours, so whatever it takes, we appreciate you joining us. Special guest today, Miss Corrie Leister. Corrie, welcome to the Industrious Podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Corrie, why don't you give our listeners and viewers a little background info on yourself?
Sure. Hi, I'm Corrie Leister. I own Inspired by You. Let's see, I'm from central Pennsylvania, right around the Harrisburg area. This is my 10th year in business. The first 5 years I operated out of my garage because I had small kids and I kind of built my business while trying to manage a family. And then 5 years ago, we moved into a shop where we've just kind of rapidly expanded. Now my husband is in business with me full time and he does all of our sales and marketing. And so we've kind of made it a family business and it's been just an incredible journey for the past 10 years.
That's awesome. I was at your shop, I'm going to say 2.5 years ago-ish. What, in just that short period of time, what has been the biggest change in that last 2 years for your guys' business?
I think since you were there, we've really taken on a lot of interior painting, which we didn't do before. So now we do a lot of interior painting. We do some exterior painting as well. And we've just kind of scaled outside of the kitchen cabinet realm into countertops, backsplash, flooring, full bathroom remodels. Yeah, we do a lot of new construction too. So we've kind of taken the cabinet refinishing part of our business and then just kind of scaled with other things that complement that part of the business.
Going back 10 years ago, and I know you've answered this question a lot in a variety of podcasts and other interviews that you've done. If I'm not mistaken, you're in Oklahoma visiting your sister who is expecting a child. And we always sort of say tongue in cheek when people say, well, how did you get in the coatings industry? I'm like, well, if it's a family business, you get guilted into it, or you get sucked into it. Once it brings you in, you're not getting out. So your story is your sister said, hey, can you help me out and help me prep for this coming baby? And then you're just getting messy and starting to paint everything and kind of went from there. Is that correct?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I've always loved to paint and that it just kind of, I had never thought that painting would provide the income that I needed to sustain a family. So I never kind of pursued that. And then I rapidly learned, I was like, oh my gosh, this could create an asset for our family. So yeah.
That's awesome. What, so as we move through 10 years, you'd been just become an entrepreneur, starting your own cabinet refinishing business, which has obviously morphed and grown substantially since then, and so all the various services you guys provide. But you really became a leader in the industry by sort of putting yourself out there, not so much to say, hey, look what I've done, but to be able to say, look what I've learned and sharing that. How has that directly impacted your business? But also, how has that impacted the fulfillment you get out of being that entrepreneur?
Yeah, that's a great question. I love, like one of our core values is growth minded. Like I constantly love just learning new processes, new ways of doing things, new ways to be more efficient and more effective in our business. I just had a business owner bring her team into our shop this morning just so that she could learn from what we've done. But one of the things that I told her was like, we're not done learning. Like we are by no means perfect in what we do. We've just learned from some incredible industry professionals and we're constantly learning more. I think that the key to any success is just getting around people who, like, if you're the smartest one in the room, then you're in the wrong room, in my opinion. So I love getting around people who are smarter, who are wiser, who have more things that they can pour into me so that I can pour into other people. And I love being able to share things that I've learned. But I know by no means do I know it all, and I'm continually learning from other people, and I just have that hunger to I guess it keeps me humble because I know that there's so much more to learn out there.
So, as we talk about inspired by you, and obviously a painting business, you've sort of had some offshoots there with the coatings, and then more importantly, may not more importantly, but more interesting to me is the IB University and what that. Can you talk about what you like? Where did that come from, and what that means to you and to others?
Yeah, so the IB University, it came about during COVID because I think, it was a time where everybody was just so isolated. And I think the painting community, and in particular, like what I was gathering from, um, just all of our groups online and things like that, is just like we felt so alone. And so in August of 2020, I started Inspired by University. And it was just a way where I could bring in industry professionals into our shop and we could just continue to pour into people. And it was such a weird time because I had people wear like red stickers if you had to stay away, and green stickers if it was okay if you could come close to them. And like it was just, all of the different modifications we had to make for, where people were at as far as like their mentality and whatnot. But it was such a great time. Like for me, it was our biggest time of learning and growth because it was a 13-month stint where I did one class every month for 13 straight months from August to September of 2021. And each month, I would bring in these different industry professionals and they would teach on their specialty. So, like Eric Reason came in and talked on finishing, and Denny Jans came in and um, Denny talked about refacing cabinets. And, Michael Crane came in, and like just some of these incredible industry professionals would come in and teach on their specialty. And for me, and inspired by you, it was like, man, I got to learn from some of the best in the industry. And I got to take, um, certain bits and pieces that, because, I can't be Eric Reason or I can't be Nick Slavic, but I can be the best me that I can be, right? So I can take bits and pieces from each of these professionals and create a system that would work for Inspired by You, that would make us the most efficient and the most effective, and work the best for our team of people. And it created what we have now, which is just an incredible system that is learnable, it's teachable, it's duplicatable, and it just gets our customers really great results. So if there's things that we do in our business, um, that people can take and they can learn from and they can implement into their business, then I think it's awesome, and it's a way that we can pay it forward to them too.
Yeah, I was gonna say kudos to you for taking your educational background and maximizing it by bringing in these, call it mentors, if you will, who have been around the block a few extra times. They've made mistakes, and if they're willing to share with what they've learned with others, so they don't have to make the same mistake, all the better. And the interesting thing about that is not everyone's built that way, right? I mean, a lot of people are like, "Look, we're all theoretically competitors potentially. Why would I want to share too much? Because then that's exposing myself." But you're kind of doing the opposite. You're like, "Look, I don't care. I want to share with everyone, and if we're all going to benefit from it." And so more power, and kudos to you for doing that.
Yeah, I think that it goes along with just being that growth minded versus the fixed minded. Like if I was fixed minded, then I would be like, oh, well, there's no way that I'm sharing what I'm learning because, then everybody else is going to do what I'm doing. But if I'm growth minded, then I'm gonna be like, go ahead, take everything that I know now because tomorrow I'm going to be, that much further ahead and I'm going to constantly be learning and growing and continually be advancing. So I think just that growth minded nature, it just helps to be free to share because you're constantly learning and you're constantly learning new things. So if you're taking what I'm doing today, it may be different, a month from now because we're always in that learning phase.
Sure. Obviously, having your own business is not easy, and it's not for everyone. The first step, which is always, in my opinion, one of the most critical steps, is having the guts to take that leap, right? And you're out in Oklahoma, and something the bulb went on where it's like, you know what? Yeah, wow, I thought about this, but never really thought enough. And now, like, your sister's basically saying, "Go for it." And you're like, "All right, let's do this," and you did it. Um, in that time frame, that last, what, 10 to 12 years, what would you say has been the biggest challenge in continuing to grow?
I think I am very creative minded and I am not I hate numbers. So that's a real challenge when you're trying to run a business. Um, oh goodness gracious, I think to back thankfully my husband Chad is so he's dialed in with numbers and I I had met Chris Moore at a PCA event, and he helped me kind of get dialed in with a lot of the numbers part and the data collection and things like that. Stuff that I hated, but I knew that I needed if I wanted to have a sustainable business that would last long term. And then when Chad came in, he was like, he took a deep dive into our numbers and he was like, holy crap, you've created an asset to our family, but we need to make sure that we get profitable. And I was like, profit, I just do this because I love it, and I was like, okay. So that has been when Chad came on board, it was such a blessing because now we have an incredibly profitable business that is an asset for our family and it's sustainable for all of our employees. We're able to provide for them. We're able to provide, benefits for our employees, things like that, as a creative, I was like, okay, let's have fun and let's do this. And it's like numbers, ew, gross, get those away from me. And so Chad really, really helped with that side of the business. And looking back, I'm like, man, I wish I would have started a lot of the stuff that we're doing now way back when, so we didn't have to make so many drastic changes as we went through. But at the same time, I feel like it was such a important part of just kind of learning and growing through that now, through the Inspired by University and things like that, we can help I can see things in a different way too, that I'm able to try and help people navigate against some of those things that I failed at and help prevent them from failing in those same ways.
Yeah, that key piece there that is so important in terms of allowing people to understand all the different facets they need to understand, and saying, you know what, it's okay if you're not a numbers, accounting, finance driven person. That's okay, but it's a pretty big piece. So go find that resource who is the expert, who does love that stuff, and surround yourself with them so they can, take that on for you, and then you can focus on the stuff that you're really good at. That's hugely important because I think there's a lot of people out there who then try to take all of it on, and they're just going to get inundated, or they're going to get bogged down with things that truly aren't that's not their niche. They're not good at it. Instead of finding that expert to help them advance further.
Yeah. I think it's so essential because I think that there is a lot of burnout, especially in a refinishing business, because it is such a demanding job, right? It's such a demanding business that can take a toll on your body. And if you're not focused on the things that add value to you and help you just stay positive and give life into you, then you're going to just be depleted and so many balls are going to drop. And so, like you said, just trying to surround yourself with people who can fill in all of those gaps and who can support you so that you're able to be in a position where you thrive and you can sustain that long term. I think that that's essential for a long term business.
So when you were in as I was doing my research, you started your work life teaching 7th and 8th graders, which I think that gets you a backdoor like VIP pass to heaven right there, because I couldn't do it. I'm not wired for that. But did you ever think, looking back, that today you'd be saying, if someone said, "What do you do?" Like, "Well, I'm a painting contractor. I'm a home remodeler. I'm in construction," and like, was that just could you have ever even thought that would be possible? Like, no, not a chance.
Never, never in a million years. Like, if you would have asked my teenage self what I would be doing now, this would have been probably the farthest thing from my radar. Like, I've always had a passion for paint, but it was like all kinds of like I loved pottery and sculpture and like that kind of thing, any kind of mixed media. Um, but never like a painting contractor or, anything that I'm doing now. It would have never even been on my radar. But to see that where it's come and what it is today, I was just talking to my daughter about this yesterday because she is so gifted as far as design and her aesthetic nature. Like she can put things together. And I was like, well, wouldn't it be cool if you went to college and you studied interior design and, then we could branch off with Inspired by You because it's such a great name because we're not locked into painting. We're not locked into refinishing. Like we're really not locked into anything. But if you created a design part of Inspired by You where you could be that interior designer. And she was like, oh, that makes sense. So like just little things like that, just trying to think of ways that, we could continue to expand, continue to add value to our customers, but then, keeping in line with that family business. I think that would be awesome to do something like that. But yeah, I never would have guessed that I would be here doing this ever.
Also awesome is the fact that she responded in that way. Because I've thrown out ideas to my daughters and they don't always respond that way.
Are you saying you get an eye roll or something?
Yeah, sometimes. And now that they're even older, there's things that they say that I probably shouldn't repeat on here. So, it's all good.
There's nothing better than the classic teenage eye roll. It's my favorite.
Yeah, we get those occasionally. Yeah.
What if you're looking back, and we talked about challenges, we've talked about learning, and for most of us, if we don't have a solid base of mentorship around us, or even if we do, we always kind of say, or I tell my kids, being a business owner or being an entrepreneur and kind of going out on your own, if you wait to make a decision until you have 100% of it figured out, you'll never make the decision. We kind of jokingly, somewhat half jokingly say, you figure out 80% and then you go, and the other 20% you figure out along the way. What were some of the key or biggest challenges or failures if you went back and said, "Oh, that was a really bad decision. I really messed that one up, but it's all good because here I am today." Like, what are some of those things that strike you the most that you could share with our listeners?
Yeah, I think just moving into a shop in February and then COVID hits in March, I was like, yeah, that was a dumb decision. It's like, what was I thinking?
Didn't exactly have a crystal ball there to call that one, but
Right, right. Like there's so many things I feel like action cures all fear. And so many times I would have fear that would creep up and it would keep me from doing certain things. For example, I started painting kitchens, just brushing and rolling, and I was using chalk paint. Like I didn't know any better. I was just using what, I had taken classes, what they told me to use. That's what I was using. And then like I just had this fear of spraying. I was like, I can't use a sprayer. Like, what if I make a mistake or, and then I used a sprayer. I was like, oh my gosh, this is magnificent. Like, why didn't I do this before? I'm never using a brush again. And then, it was like spraying in people's homes. So we would brush and roll the boxes and we would just spray the doors in our shop because it was a controlled environment. And I didn't want to spray in people's homes because, like, well, what if I get it on their wall? What if I get it on their ceiling? Like, what if I make a mistake? Whatever. So I sprayed my own kitchen and I was like, "Oh, well, that wasn't so hard. Why didn't I do this before?" And so it was just like kinda everything, every fear that I had when I acted on it, I was like, "That wasn't bad. Why didn't I do that earlier?" And so it just kind of enabled me to just anytime fear crept up, I was like, "Oh, well, that's a reason that I need to do it," because I knew by that point, it was like, "Man, I'm missing out if I don't do it."
Yeah, that makes sense. Then, sort of conversely, as you know, when you talked about the business today and the conversation you had with your daughter, like you naturally lit up, like there was excitement in your facial expression and your voice. What are the things you absolutely love about your world right now in terms of the business and what you do?
Oh my gosh, I love that I get to do it with my husband, and I love that we get to make this a family business. I love the team that we have. I mean, I don't know how I've been blessed with the most amazing people, and it was so funny because today when that the group of people came in and they were asking me all kinds of questions about our business and how Chad's going to have record sales this quarter. Like he'll sell over $500,000 in this first quarter, which is like amazing for one sales guy who not only just does sales but does like everything else that he does in our business. But they were like, "Well, how does he sell?" And I was like, "He just tells our story." And the other night when we were out having dinner together, he was telling me what he tells people when he's sitting down with them and, just the way that he was describing our team, and I literally started crying when he was talking about our team, and I was like, "Well, no wonder you sell so many kitchens." I'm like, "Dear Lord, like, I wanna buy a kitchen from you because just the way that he talks about our team and just the incredible people that have been brought into our life, um, and then just the way that they bring joy into every home that we go out and we get to serve. It's just there's just really something special about what we do and how we do it and the people we get to do it with. And I love it. I feel like we're so incredibly blessed to be in a business that I remember one time we were doing a kitchen for a couple and they were celebrating their 60th wedding anniversary. And so we went and we did, instead of doing masking their boxes with paper, we did it with anniversary paper. And, we brought them flowers and like just little things like that it made it so special for them, and it just gave our team so much joy to be able to go in and do that for them. So, like, little ways that we can do that it just, it fills us to be able to pour into other people and to serve them like that.
Yeah, I picked up on a couple of things there, and like if there's anyone in sales, regardless of industry, that's listening to this, I think there's two key things that can be taken away from that answer. One, was on the latter part, was anything, even something that is the most transactional, like I am hiring you to to do a refresh on my kitchen cabinets, can become relational. Like it doesn't have to be purely transactional. You can make it relational and create an experience and have an established relationship. And then on the front end of your answer, I think sales is not about having slick lines and certain comebacks and trying to sort of manipulate a potential customer down a path. It's about authenticity, creating a relationship, being honest and earning someone's trust, organically and truthfully, and then being authentic in the process in which you go about trying to obtain that prospective client to becoming an actual client. And there's that spans across the whole spectrum. So that was really good to hear.
Yeah, it's awesome, and the great thing is too, I think because of that, because of the way, one, that he talks about our team, I always follow him. So if he goes in and he sells a kitchen and then they sign the proposal, I follow him. And when I walk into these houses to help them choose colors and like to get everything ready for our team, when I walk into the houses, he has edified me so much. It feels like I'm walking on water and they feel like they're meeting somebody famous. And I'm like, it's so weird for me to do that, but I'm like, "Holy cow," like, these people think that I'm, like, the greatest person, but it's only because he's talked so well on me, and now I have to live up to that expectation, so I'm like, it puts a lot of pressure on me, but I'm like, I go in and it makes it so nice to be able to talk to people who instantly, like, I've earned their trust, I've earned their respect. Anything that I say, like, I'm like, "Oh, I think this color would look really nice in their house." Whatever you say. Like, that's kind of how it is now, but it's all because of the way that he has edified me and our team, and people just they love that.
So what you're saying is that Chad gets the client to come on board, and then when you show up, the door opens. There's like opera music and doves flying, and you you have like your entrance song playing. That's pretty awesome.
Well, she is the cabinet queen. I mean, minus the tiara, as long as you don't wear one of those in there, you're good to go, right?
He's like, listen, just sign the dotted line so you can meet my wife. You're gonna love her.
It's basically what he says. Like, he's like, "You will get to meet my wife." And so it is crazy. But I mean, I love that he is able to do that, not just for me, but for our team. Because I know when our team goes into their house, they're treated the exact same way. And so it's just really cool, um, the way that he speaks so well of our team.
So there's one thing I want to touch on. You did a podcast a couple weeks ago with the Drip Drop team, and I watched that podcast. And there's a lot I took away from it, but they're asking you about leadership, and I'll paraphrase your answer because I thought it was really impactful, and I just wanted you to be able to comment on it. Essentially, again, sort of somewhat in my own words, but just paraphrasing what you said. Essentially, true leadership is how well you influence others. Can you touch on that a little bit?
Yeah, I think, man, in a leadership position, you have the power to influence people in a positive way or in a negative way. And do you want to light up the room whenever you enter it or whenever you leave? You know, it's like some people, whenever they leave the room, people are like cheering. They're like, thank God they're gone. You never want to be that person, right? You want to light up the room whenever you enter it. And you want to make sure that you leave people better off um after. Like you want them wanting more of you. And so I just feel like um I'm very blessed in everything that like I'm blessed in our business. I'm blessed with my incredible family. Like I'm blessed in so many ways and I'm blessed to be a blessing to others. Like that's kind of how I feel. And so if I can bless others, if I can make them feel better about themselves, if I can help them and I can influence them in positive ways, then that can trickle on for generations. And I just feel like it is that ripple. I feel like so many people have poured into me and have just influenced me in so many positive ways. I feel like almost an obligation to do that to other people because I've been able to experience the benefit of that. And so I think, just success for me has never been in dollar bills. I don't like numbers. I don't like money. I'm not that person.
Just enough to pay the club sports fees, right?
Right, right. Oh gosh. Yeah, tell me about that. Those club sports fees are no joke. But man, it's like success is how many people you impact in a positive way on a daily basis. And so and I feel like if you do that and you focus on helping enough other people get what they want in life, you're never gonna have to worry about a thing in your life because your cup will always be so full. So that's just kinda my take on that.
Yeah, sort of like karma. Like you get out what you put in. So if you're not putting anything in, you're gonna have a little bit of a tough ride.
You reap what you sow. Like, that's kind of what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. So on the I want to pivot a little bit on the club fee thing. So we kind of we touched on this. So you coach volleyball, you coach at the high school level, you played in high school and in college, and now you've I think if I read there's an interview from a few years ago in a trade magazine where when your kids were younger, you stepped away from coaching because obviously young kids demand a little bit of time, but now you've re-entered that space. What is the what fulfillment do you get out of coaching and teaching youth on the volleyball court, basketball court, wherever it may be?
I love it. I love um one, I told my kids that I will never coach them unless they want me to coach them, right? So if they want me there, I will be there 100%. Now they're at a small Christian school, and usually at a small Christian school, like the coaches are limited to parents who may have played a game of pickup at one point in their life. Like that's kind of that's kind of how it is. But I knew that if they wanted to be coached well, I could step in and I could give them that. And so since they were 9 and 10, I've been their school coach, and I love it because I get to know them in a different way. Like when they're on the court, like they're not my kids, they're my players. Like, and they know that people are going to look at them differently because they're my daughters. So they have to do 10 times more than anybody else. If our team runs one lap, they have to run two, and like, that's not imposed by me. That's stuff that they do because they have to earn everything that they get. And just because of that perception. And they have the cool thing about it is, like they are, if I had to choose people that I admire and I respect, like my dad would be on that list, my mom and my dad, like Chad would be on that list, and my girls, like they would be on that list because they are my respect every day. Like there's 2 days a week they wake up at 4:30 in the morning so that they can go and work out on their own terms. Like I don't make them get up and work out. Like they work out before school. Like they are so disciplined in everything that they do. And that's like right from the beginning. I was like, for open gyms and stuff, I'm like, if you don't want to come, I don't want you here. Like, you don't come to the gym unless you want to be here and you want to work. And like, so that's kind of, I'm not easy on them. I'm like a coach with them. And the fact that they are begging me to go into school beforehand to get reps in the gym or, to stay after practice and stuff, it's just like they earn my respect on a daily basis. And so to be able to coach them, and then I coach club too. So like high school, I coach my girls, and I'm helping out with my son's team too. And then during club, I coach a different team, so they get to experience other coaches during club, and it's just so awesome to be able to. I need that release because I'm the type of person who, I pour everything I am into what I'm doing. And so whenever I'm coaching, it gives me that release where I'm able to focus on sports and not on my business. So I need kind of that break. I need that release.
It helps you stay sane, is what you're saying.
Yeah. Yeah. I need to stay sane.
Back into the business world, it's, and I think the older I get, that people older than you always say, well, time will fly as you get older. I'm like, well, darn it, it's true, because I feel like, here it is already the middle of March. We're creeping up very quickly to the end of the first quarter, although there is still quite a bit of 2026 to go. What does the outlook for the year look like for your business? Your thoughts on the industry, things like that. What are some of the tailwinds you may be feeling, some of the headwinds you may be concerned about? What's it look like in your world for what the calendar year is going to provide you?
Yeah. I think we are on track to do more sales than we've ever done before, which is awesome. Like it's a good place to start this year. I feel like we were talking about this a little bit earlier, but I think that staining is really picking up. Like we've been doing a lot more staining. The color trends, like we're still doing more white kitchens than anything else. But I think like definitely the more beige tones, things like that are coming in. Um, we're starting to do a little bit of exterior, which is good because that will help to pick up some of that business in the summertime. Um, yeah, I think we are heading into this year strong, which is really good. I think we're not seeing just the cabinet refinishing anymore. Like people our customers are wanting to do a lot more with us. So it's like just it's the not just the refinishing, but it's the countertops, the backsplash, the flooring. And then I love like we offer a 5-year warranty. We don't have a lot of callbacks, a lot of touch-ups to do, but when we do, it's just such a great opportunity because then we usually get more sales because I'm like, "Oh, well, do you know we offer, countertops and we offer back do you know we're doing full remodels now?" And so then, like, those people who we were able to serve prior are coming back to us now, which has been a blessing as well. Um, so I think, the future is really bright for what we're doing. Um, with just doing cabinet refinishing, it was awesome and we served our customers really well. But when you do it right, you hope that you never have to go back again, right? And so now being able to offer other services, we're getting a lot of repeat customers, which has been really great.
Do you see you mentioned the shift from cabinet refinishing to doing like bigger or more full renos. Is that due to your expansion of your business, or do you think or is that something you're seeing economically where people are making the decision to invest more in their home by going bigger versus just, you know, putting lipstick on the existing kitchen?
Yeah, I think people are really like with what we do, we're able to salvage anything that we can to help with those expenses. And then we're also able to add on. So I think that's something that definitely separates us is we're able to say, okay, well, like these cabinets are really well made. How about we keep this part and let's add on a new island and let's put a pantry area here and let's do this and we can get new doors for all of your surfaces. So like we're able to keep what is salvageable and help save that expense there, but we're also able to add on new elements. We just did this beautiful farmhouse and it is like completely different from what it looked like before. Like we were able to keep some of their upper cabinets, but then we added in a whole new L-shaped area of cabinets. We added on a whole new island. We added on a pantry area. We built a wall for their laundry room area. We were able to completely, we did their flooring in there too. We ripped out their old flooring and they were going to get new flooring, but we found this gorgeous hardwood floor underneath that we were just able to refinish and keep that and save that expense for them too. So I think because we're able to kind of do a hybrid of not just scrap what you have and rebuild everything new, but we're able to salvage what we can and save those expenses there and help with those costs. I think that has been really appealing to a lot of our customers.
Gotcha. It's good to hear.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good to hear as someone in the industry, the additional investment people are willing to make, obviously, but also that your story of let's not just throw something away that has value or use just for the sake of throwing it away. I mean, there's an element of not just cost savings, but also an element of sustainability there as well.
Right. Right.
Corey, you guys have been a great customer to us. How are we doing for you?
I cannot say enough about Accessa. I mean,
To cut this part out.
Shameless plug.
oh my gosh. I've been with DC for ages. And when he partnered with you, it was great. I love the online availability now. I think it's great for customers. We had changed units, so we're not in the same space that we were, and so there was some issues with shipping and the way I think it's very similar to refinishing. Like sometimes when things go great, everything's great. But when things go wrong, it really shows how we can go to work for people. And it actually makes our company look better because we serve them really well when things don't go so well. And I've seen that like when we moved and there was some shipping issues and whatnot, I've seen the way that you guys have just gone to bat and like getting us stuff when we need it and like going above and beyond to make sure that we're served well. It has just been, I actually just was on the phone with DC today and I was just like, thank you so much. Like you saved my butt so many times. And I'm so appreciative of everything that Accessa does. Like I love the fact too that you offer so many different coatings. Like we're able to use the Centurion vinyl sealer and the Malaysia finish coat. And like we're able to use all of these things and get them from one source, which has been highly beneficial. And, I can't say enough about the customer service. It's been really, truly awesome.
Great. That's great to hear. Thank you.
Yeah.
Checks in the mail on that one.
Well, here's a fun fact. So here's an industry-related fun fact. From a coating supplier, you mentioned that you're still doing a lot of classic whites and other neutrals. Do you know how many different shades of white there are out there?
Oh, too many.
That is the correct answer. Because
that's a nicer way of saying what I was.
I know you don't. I know you don't like numbers, but I'll quantify this for you. Over 1 trillion whites. Now that's not a real answer. That's just our opinion from a coating supplier. That everyone wants a white, but they want their own white. That's our inside. Sorry, non-industry folks, but that is our inside joke in the not so glamorous world of coatings. But yeah, that's the world we live in.
It is wild. I mean, that's why we've simplified it. We've got 4 weights for our customers. We're like, these are the 4 that we deal with. And like, you can choose outside of that palette if you want, but there's going to be an additional charge. So we go with 4 whites that do not give like weird hues or weird undertones. Cause sometimes when they choose their own white, like they don't know what they don't know. And whenever it's all over their kitchen looks pink or purple or like just some weird white. So.
Yeah.
4 whites.
Especially when they're pegging on a little 1x1 or 2x2 inch thing. And they don't have the mindset to blow it up and how that can change things. I've done that before years ago.
So we're going to go out to all of our customers, particularly on the OEM side who do full custom, and you're going to have to tell them that we only have 4 whites.
No, here's what I'm going to tell them. I'm going to say the cabinet queen said, here's our 4 whites.
Hey, they work. And then that way, we have our exclusive, like we have 20 colors that we offer. And that way we can keep 5s of it in our shop. We never run out of it. Makes sense. And then we're able to give swatches to our customers on that, 11x17 sheets and the sprayed sheen. And they're able to see those colors at different times of the day, make sure they sign off on them. Like it works for us.
Yeah.
Super efficient. And like, in theory, that if you can't satisfy 90% of the people with that, then you're light years ahead.
Well, and I mean the fact that Chad does make me walk on water whenever I walk in. I'm like, you want one of these 4 whites? They're like, yes, ma'am.
You just do my kitchen and surprise me.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Awesome. Well, Corrie, thank you very much for your business, but also thank you very much for your time today. We greatly appreciate you joining us and sharing part of your story.
Of course. Thanks so much for having me. I truly appreciate Accessa and everything that you guys do. Thanks for what you do for the industry.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank all you guys for checking out this episode of the Industrious Podcast. Thank you for joining us from wherever you get your podcasts. If you're on that Accessa YouTube channel, thanks for tuning in. We appreciate it. Don't forget, hit that notification bell icon so you can be alerted when new episodes like this one drop. And above all, be industrious.